welcome to the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. I'm Ruth and I love to knit. Today is Wednesday the 22nd of February 2023 and I'm coming to you as always from the southwest of England where I live with my family, my husband Nigel and my two kids, Samuel who's 13 and Eva who's 14. They're off to school today. And my hubby is downstairs but I've warned him that he's to keep quiet and keep the dog quiet and that I'm going to podcast for a wee while. It is a very dull, rainy off and on day here in Devon, so we'll hope for the best with the lighting and we'll see how we get on. It is always lovely to join you with a wee podcast. If you've been here before, you know the kind of setup. It's just take me as you find me. I'm sorry about the mess of my craft room. Everything has been everywhere this week. I hope this doesn't make you anxious. I know there's a lot of podcasts that have these beautiful backgrounds. I'm not one of them. You're in my home, you're in my wee craft room stroke spare room, and I'm just glad you're here. If you've never been here before, buckle up, get yourself a drink, get yourself your crafting project, and I don't mind if you stop and start, but stick it to the end if you can, because today I want to share a wee bit of something different right at the very end. You often hear me talking, if you've been here before on this podcast, about the hospital in Bangladesh that I send my ad revenue funds to, and I want to tell you a bit more about it this week. A lot of people have asked me questions about it, how I came to be there, what I did, blah, 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 and I want to share that with you at the end of the podcast. So stick around and we'll have a good time together. Where can you find me? I forgot to even say this last time. I am Ruth Loves to Knit podcast on Instagram. So long since I've said this. I am Ruth Loves to Knit on Ravelry, but please do not expect great and wonderful things from me on Ravelry. I have given up, I think, posting there. I love hard copy of my projects. I've just finished, I think this is my last year's one. Yep, I've just finished my hard copy of last year of all my projects, got it all up to date. Don't know why I want to keep this. Nobody in my house will be interested in it, but I like looking back at all the photographs and all the yarn labels. It's just for myself. So there's very few things on Ravelry. But I know some people did friend me there after my last podcast, and I did notice, but you won't get much out of me there, sorry. And I do have an email for this podcast, and it's ruthlovestoknit@gmail.com, and do feel free to get in touch with me there at any time and I will try to get back to you. I just want to thank you so much for the amazing comments under my last podcast. I had been away, I had been in hospital, and just so many welcome back, so many lovely new viewers who came over from different podcasts that mentioned me, and I don't take it for granted. I'm so thankful that you're watching my shenanigans when there's so many much more professional podcasts out there who do much more professional things. So, but sure, we're here, we're just sitting knitting together, and yeah, I hope this won't be too fast and furious for you. I've got my notes here as always. Being Irish, I can go all roads and directions, so trying to keep myself into this way of doing things. If you haven't been here before, I do the traditional way, FOs, whips, all that sort of stuff. So I hope that's what you're here for. I'll move. I couldn't talk if I didn't have my hands. You'll remember last time I mentioned a hashtag which loads of people are using, and it's hashtag you feel free, letter U, feel free in 23, and it's just to encourage you to do whatever you want knitting wise. Calm down, and don't feel you have to have any regimented thing, but in the comments, some people like it, some people don't. Each to their own, isn't it? I think more people than not, if you're watching my podcast, you probably don't have a regimented way of doing things. But if you use that wee hashtag, if you post anything on Instagram, I will from time to time go in and pick a wee one out and send you a goodie. No, I've been looking in, I've been hearting a few things. I obviously have giveaway to announce in this podcast, so I won't be doing a prize this time, but keep your eyes peeled and your ears peeled, and there will be a couple of wee prizes going out as time goes on. So that's You Feel Free in 23, and of course you can always use the It's My Knitting, I'll Cast On If I Want To hashtag as well, and that is my motto for life, and a lot of people have been using that one as well. So last time I mentioned a couple of things that I didn't have with me, and of course those are the things that people asked about. I didn't do any show notes last time and didn't seem to make a difference, but the couple of things that I wanted to show you that a lot of people have been asking me about are these wee wrist warmers. Excuse me, itchy nose already, it doesn't bode well. Now you can't see that. I can't even tell you what yarn I used for these, because I think it was just, it was less than a 50-gram ball of DK. It was just leftovers. I actually did them one wee row shorter. I must have short. And I was saying, I didn't know I needed wrist warmers till I knit them, and I've worn them constantly. And the thing I like about them is they're wide enough to go over your watch. And these are the WinterTide Wrist Warmers by Candy Patch Design. She's also has an Etsy shop and does beautiful bags, and she's got some lovely bags for mums at the minute. If anybody's wanting a wee gifty for their mum for British Mother's Day coming up in March. And it's Carrie Goss. I will put the details. And say it takes a 50-gram ball of DK. I'll just show you the detail again. And it's a free pattern. Sure, I couldn't beat it. I think I've taken my rocking chair out because it's too low down. I can't sit on it at the minute, and it's down in our living room, and I've moved up just a chair from the kitchen table, and I think it's not as near to the screen or something. It feels all off. But anyway, those are the WinterTide wrist warmers. So it just was a great wee palette cleanser, and just when I didn't have much concentration. So that's one thing some people wanted to see. And then the other thing is round my neck. And it is my third Slip Crazy shawl by Chit Chat Knits. Oh, brain fart there. And I love this one too. And you just can use, if you want the details of it, I've shown them on, obviously it's my third one, so I've shown them on lots of podcasts. Go right back. I think I've actually got one in the one of the thumbnails that you can have a look at. I did a Christmassy one, although with everything that went on, I didn't get to wear it. And you can use, I took the challenge to use absolutely clashing yarn, striped, 2 balls of striped yarn, and then one solid, which is the purple, and obviously have a theme. And this is what came out, and I absolutely love it. The stitch definition is great too. Again, I don't have, who did it? I can't even remember who I used, but it would be in previous podcast, because I did show maybe 2 podcasts ago before I went off for a while. I did show it, so you can look back there. It's not awfully well blocked because it's turning up, but that's my fault, not the. So that's the Slip Crazy shawl. Actually, you feel the difference when you take it off. And I really love them, and I've worn them a lot, and a lot of comments on them too, and it's the simplest pattern. And if you have those random skeins of sock yarn or whatever, there's nothing that doesn't go together. It's really amazing. And I thought I had another one in me, and I had yarn set aside, but I think maybe 3's enough, is it? You never know, might do another one. But that's the Slip Crazy shawl by Chit Chat Knits, and she's got a cowl as well. I want to say a hat. No, don't quote me on that. So those are the 2 things that I didn't show last week, but lots of people messaged me about. So that's them covered. Well, we go on to FOs now. I have loads of FOs. But full disclosure, they were nearly all finished last podcast, apart from one. And I, yeah, you saw the sweater and stuff that I was nearly finished, socks that was nearly finished. So don't get too excited whenever, I mean, they're beautiful FOs, but don't think, oh gosh, she's done all that in 3 weeks. I really haven't. So I didn't have put this back on. So this is can't get it all off. This is my first FO. Now, you saw this last time, and I had maybe 4 inches of the body to do. That was it. And this is the full Frolic sweater. I absolutely love it. I suppose I need to get a bit closer, sorry. Still a bit hampered. You can see the lovely, that's not really shown up. That's like a, I don't know what colour is that. Let's see if I can get it to, it's a lovely purpley hue as well anyway. It's just the lighting. I think you can see it a wee bit there. And, sorry, I'm still a bit stiff and a wee bit niggly. And this is by Samantha Guerin. Highly recommend her sweaters. I've done a couple of her sweaters now, and I love the round yoke, really do. And the only modifications I made to this only modifications I made to this sweater was she has this design right round the cuff, right round the bottom of the jumper, but I just felt it was too much. And in hindsight, I wish I'd only used a mini for this, the slip stitches here, or the colour work here. So, so I've got nearly a whole ball of this left, but I absolutely love it. I've worn it quite a bit already, and I did it cropped, as in, I wear a lot of dresses and it just sits lovely. I must get some FO photographs of it. I haven't got them yet. And I'll give you the details of this, which is, where have I got them? There we go. So the main purple, it's showing up more reddy than purple, but it is definitely, I was having a coffee with a friend, and she'd seen this on the podcast. She said, oh, that's much more purple, and showed, sorry, the lighting just the way, but it's a lovely, lovely purple. And that is Blacker Yarns. I was saying last time, I just live up the road from Blacker Yarns, and I'd love to go to the mill again. But dangerous, isn't it, when you're not meant to be buying any yarn. And it's Blacker Yarn, Jacob 4-ply. And I actually got this, I said last time too, sorry to keep harping back, that I got this 40% off sale last year. And it's worsted spun, purple granite, and 100% wool. This is a sport weight sweater, and this is 4-ply, but I got gauge, so I just went with it. And then the contrast there is, I haven't got the, because I've so much of the ball left, I didn't take the label off. It is John Arbon Pebble Brook in their Devonia 4-ply, and I've got, as I say, I think I've got 80 grams of that left, so that'll be used in another project, no doubt. But I'm chuffed to bits with this one. I really love it. I can't raise myself up. This is not a good idea. There you go. You can see it a wee bit better. There's a texture here that maybe you can't see very well because of this light. There you go. I really love it. So, and so cozy. But we haven't been putting the heat on, and I haven't really needed it, but this morning it does definitely feel a wee bit chilly, so I'm going to put this back around my neck. Isn't that the joy of knitting? Being a knitter, you've got all the cold weather things you need. So that's my first finished object, but as I say, I had about 3 inches to knit on it the last time I saw you. My second, third and fourth again, these socks literally was just a couple of inches, had the foot to do, and one of them, they're not blocked because they're just for me. These lovely socks. Oh, I'm sorry, the really colours aren't coming out well. It's all going yellow in the background. I wonder if it help if I, that better? No, I think that's even darker. Oh, the joys of winter podcasting. Anyway, these are from, I haven't got the label for these because I don't think she's dying anymore. These were Love Bug yarns, and the colour is Colour Outside the Lines, but there's no point. Oh, that's maybe better there. So those will go into my socks. As I've said, I'm knitting them the leg a lot longer at the moment because I've got new boots and they're a higher leg. So I'm using my 100 gram sock skeins again after usually using a 50 grams. So that's the one pair. So that's a bit cheaty because they were nearly finished. Then I was so proud of myself. And you know what happens when pride comes before. I had 2 sock whips that I have had on the needles for a full year. And one was a test knit, and I only had to do one sock, and I don't know what happened. I enjoyed knitting them. It was lovely. The pattern was lovely. It's been published for months and months and months, but I don't know what happened. But I had knit one of them, and I finally sat down since I've seen you and knit the other one. And these are the socks. Isn't that lovely? Another one jigging out there. Haven't got them on sock blockers because I'll show you. Now, look, there's the rain on. Look at that. Now, when they put them on sock blockers, they are, can you see that? I think she asked me to knit the large size. You see, you leave things in bags and your gauge changes. And the top of them is the same. So I think she asked me to knit the 72 stitches, which fits me fine as well as a 64. And I think then I cast on, because I'd left it so long, I cast on the 64 and look. Thinking I'm being smart, look. But listen, they're for me. I've tried them on. I mean, I could stretch them out, no problem. Look, they're stretched out and they're the same size. But they're for me. I've tried them on and they fit grand, and nobody's going to know if I've a big heel flap or a small heel flap. I'm sorry if that distresses you, but it doesn't distress me. But I've got them finished. It's a beautiful design. Look at that. The texture on the foot as well. And these are from... where have I written it? Okay, these are the Carousel Socks by Backwoodsknits, and again the test knit was in February, and I used Paw Ply yarn coastal. He's not dying anymore, and it's the colourway Belle of the Ball, and my favourite red, which is also Paw Ply. I just wasn't quick enough to get, that's not showing up, I wasn't quick enough to get sweaters quantity. It's a beautiful, that's it there. It's a beautiful, beautiful deep wine red before he stopped dying. But so that's one. See the details. So that was my Pride Came Before a Fall. And then another pair that I had on the needles from February. Must have cast them. I remember I kind of lost my sock mojo last year. Whereas this lovely pair with... So I didn't put these on the sock blockers because I thought it was easier to see that right down the front. That was lovely. And I think I hadn't got those. I thought I saw a mistake, but it's not. It just must be the way I was holding it. I had one of those done as well, and had one of those, the other one's done, so that's why I only really knit one sock. And those are the Rosie socks by Daisy Stitches, and she has beautiful sock patterns. I'm obsessed with cables at the minute, absolutely obsessed. And this was some yarn, and I think this might have been some of the first hand-dyed yarn I ever bought, and it's from a wee company in Northern Ireland, Woolly Adventures, and it's called Blue Sunday, and I think I actually got it as a fade and then decided not to use it as a fade. And it just makes perfect. I mean, the softness of it, this super, super soft. And for cables, just to show up the pattern, is just gorgeous. So they're a wee company that's just very close to where my parents live. So maybe someday when I'm ever get back to Northern Ireland, I'll pop over and see them. But so that's my second pair of socks. But as I say, it's only, they were hosed before I... got it stuck into them. So that's 3 pairs of socks. And then last but not least, my Lucky Dip Kal socks for Cara. I said last time I'm doing the Lucky Dip Kal. Well, I don't think I can officially do it. I think it has to be 100 gram skeins, and I'm using 50 grams to use up all my 50 gram skeins. If you want to know more about that, go and check out Kate at Hawthorne Cottage Craft podcast. And this was February's. I haven't blocked them, sorry Cara, I'm not very professional. This lighting's not showing things at all. Oh, they're lovely. Just it's Woolly Goodness yarns, and it's Blue Sky with Rainbow sock set, and I used nearly, oh yeah, there they are. I used every last bit, near enough, of the main skein. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I have a wee bit left over of that because I just did the heels in that. Heels and cuffs, sorry. Like a grey sky colour. So Carol, I'll get those now. I've shown you them. So that's those. And that's 4 pairs of socks. These were my handbag socks, and I have had a lot of handbag taking time. Up till this week, my son joined the Army Cadets a few weeks ago, and so every Tuesday night I had to sit in the car for 2.5 hours waiting on him because it'll be a 40-mile round trip otherwise. And I downloaded some stuff on my iPad, set it up. I got my trusty lights. I don't want to blind anybody. See them? Of course, now I have to go through the whole cycle to turn them off. I had those for years and used to use them all the time when we lived in Scotland when we went on long journeys. I haven't gone the length of myself since we moved here, so forgot about them. So the first week I sort of knit, you know, scrunched up eyes trying to knit socks like you would in the cinema. And then I remembered about those. So last week I was able to knit on a navy thing. So, but this week we were able to car share, so I didn't have to go. But so that's how I got so much sock knitting done, and the kids were off on half term last week as well, so there's a lot of car trips and different things. So anyway, so that's the lucky Dip Kal I've kept going for 2 months. Wow. And Cara, those are for you. All right, I'm out of space here if you saw the chaos that's here. And so that's the Fall Frolic, the Rosie socks, Vanilla socks, Carousel socks, and the Lucky Dip socks. And last but not least, is this beauty. Yes, I cast on another sweater and finished it. It's the only thing that I did from scratch. Excuse the stitch marker, it's just to denote the back. I absolutely love it. I'm really, really loving the circular yokes at the minute. See the detail? So simple but so effective. Those wee ends are all in, but they're I'm going to cut them a bit shorter. Long sleeve. I have done, you can see I changed the ball there, but I don't think it's obvious enough that I didn't alternate skeins or anything. So I'll tell you about it and then I'll show you it again. So I knit this from the, do I need any of these things? Do some tidying up. No, I've used these, so I'll put those there. I have this book, 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. A friend of mine bought this thinking it was a beginner's knitting book and realised it wasn't. But there are definitely beginner patterns in it. But she sent it to me before I knew even what was in it or what it was about. And I wish I'd encouraged her to keep it now. But sure, maybe I'll send it back to her when I've knit all the things I want to knit. So that's the Lina 52 Weeks of Socks, 52 Weeks of Shawls scheme. And there's some lovely things in it. But this one is, I don't know, where's page 50. Is the Helmi. It's called the Helmi by Isabell Kraemer. Can't beat an Isabell Kraemer. H-E-L, I don't think I'm showing you. No, I'm not showing you anything you couldn't see on Ravelry. So it's Helmi by Isabell Kraemer. And it's exactly what I needed. It was a nice easy knit. I used, where have I put them because I've moved everything around. Excuse me, many moons ago, maybe 2021 even, I was able to get this lovely yarn in a D-stash that Nikki Winterton was doing. Some of you know Nikki. She did it on her eBay, and I looked it up, and it should have been for, I think I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 skeins of sport weight Hey Mama Wolf yarn, which is botanic naturally dyed wool, dark indigo, and it is 260 meters per 100 grams. It says 22nd of August 2018 actually, but I'm not sure that's not when I bought it. And it should have been about 170 some pound, and she gave me it for 50. So she was giving it away. And it sat in my stash and I pulled it out and thought I'll do this with it, I'll do that with it. And I have an awful habit of thinking I have to, if I've got 8 skeins of something, I have to use the whole 8 skeins. And I just thought, to pot, I'm just going to use it, and have a bit left over I can either resell or use for something else. But once I say to folks, the colourway is dark indigo, my hands were black. When I was knitting with this, it came off of my hands. I thought, I'll wash a skein, see if it, and re-skein it and dry it. Nothing came off it in the wash. When I blocked it, nothing came off it, but my hands were permanently a dark blue colour. So that was the only problem. I should have known when I was using indigo that often happens. So I had to be careful when I knit it that I didn't knit it and then go out somewhere and people think I was a dirty clout. So anyway, so that's the navy. That's the navy, and they're all the same dye lot. I didn't alternate skeins, and I think it's come out fine. Actually, in real life, there's no difference. I think it's just showing up different on the camera. And then for oh, this is terrible, this lighting. Can you see that there is? Yeah, you can see that there is a wee difference. That's like a dark burgundy and a cerise. See? Yeah, that's better. And I used for that I used Ullcentruim from Midwinter Yarns. If I could knit in one yarn, I think it would be that. I absolutely love it. And it's this, I can't remember, I've used it because I've used it for, I used it in this wee hat, which I have a mistake. I'll just sort of show you this. I did that wrong, so I haven't worn it. Nobody would know except me. This is the pressed flowers hat. I used it in that hat. I've used it in one other thing and I still have this much left. So there'll be plenty more colour work things being done, I think. So that's my other finished object. I have blocked it, worn it. Now I did change a few things just to suit me. The rib neck is optional. Actually the picture in the book is a rolled neck, just left, but it was too wide on me. It came right round and you could see my whatever top I was wearing, so I put the rib neck on, which brought it up really nice. There were decreases in the sleeves. I didn't do any decreases, and did it in quickly decreased in at the hem, because I just loved this one. Just loved the way this was, or the cuff. I just loved the way this, and I did a deeper cuff than it said, and I not on purpose did 2x2 rib. It's not meant to be 2x2 rib, it's meant to be 1x1 rib, but I just got into the way of it. I'd done 2x2 for this. I do 2x2 on most of my socks, and I think I just lost my way. So it's 2x2 rib all over, and I did a longer, again, it's cropped as in it, just sits on my waist because of my dresses and things. And I did a longer hem than it said. So I am chuffed with this. You'll see me wearing this again sometime. I'll get some I'll get some finished photographs and cut those ends off. And it's just so simple but so effective. So I hope you like that. So that was sort of, I haven't been sleeping very well. Old story. I still have to sleep sitting up. I just haven't managed to sleep lying down yet. And so I'm waking very early in the morning, and so I got a lot of knitting time in, and might be taking some nana naps to make up for it, but we'll say nothing. And so that's my finished objects. So the Helmi was actually the only thing that I did from scratch. It was actually very quick. I did use the recommended needles, and if you've been looking at this book and you've been on the fence, now there's some things in it I wouldn't knit, like any book, but yeah, there's just lovely things in it. I like this sweater here, and I'll show you another one in a wee minute that I've been looking at as well. So those are my finished objects. I have been, you won't think I've been monogamous, but I have been. That's not monogamous when you knit on socks and a jumper, but compared to what I'm normally like, I've just been pretty much doing those socks, just making the dinner, you know, sitting chatting in the coffee shop, you know, that's when I've been doing those, and I couldn't bring a big jumper out with me, which dyed my hands. So that's when I've been doing that. Whereas normally I have 6 or 7 things on the go, and that really cleared up all my whips that were languishing. I have no sort of really long languishing whips now. I don't know why those socks took me so long. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I was wondering, now I've still got, where is it? I've still got the never ending Stephen West painting honeycomb shawl, and I'm just gonna, I have knitted on it, and I've quite a bit in the last few days. I'll not go over it again, you'll be sick of looking at it. I'll just show you. It definitely has grown. I've finished the first balls of it, so I'm halfway through. And that's all I'll say about that. Because it's been in the last 3 or 4 podcasts and not really got, so I've been knitting on that, and I'll probably continue trying to get that one finished because it is lovely and it's so squishy. That's in my Soft Accents bag from Soft Accents. If you're going to Farnham this Unravel this weekend, oh, she has a bag that's just a ray of sunshine, and oh, I shouldn't, you know, meant to covet, but I tell you, if I was going to Unravel, I'd be buying it. So if you see her, Jackie is her name, give her my love. Tell her I sent you. And I mean, these bags are called Fry bags, and Fry means happy, and how could you not smile looking at one of those? I mean, they're just gorgeous. Zimbabwean fabric, I think, and oh, love them. So that's that. So that's a lot, I suppose. It's not a long, it's been since December. That's not a long standing whip, is it? No, that's fine. So then I thought I'll swatch for a few things, and having this book, I thought it was such easy knit, just does what it says on the tin. I thought I'll have a look, and I swatched for this one here, the Kupla, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the designer's name. Can you see it? And it's not, can't see it. There you go. There's a bigger picture closer up here. But when I swatched for it, swatch was fine. Swatched for it with Holst and woolly knit, and I didn't really like the fabric very much, but it's very hard to tell on a small swatch. Even when I blocked it, it didn't really bloom the way I wanted it to. And then I realised it seamed. I do not like seaming, but it's definitely on my radar, and I think I will keep it as a reserve for another time. Again, probably I wasn't in the headspace to really do it justice, and I've plenty of other yarn that I can try and knit it with. But yeah, it's like a bubble pattern, so that's definitely on my radar. And then another one, sorry, if I just put this down here. Oh, another one was the Pressed Flowers cardigan. I have the Pressed Flowers hat, which I didn't really do very well. There might be a few buttons going on it to cover up the mistakes. I have the, sorry, this is all in plastic. I have the Pressed Flowers shawl, and then, as you know, by Savory Knitting, there's a Pressed Flowers cardigan. And excuse this, but it's still, if I do it with this, I need every last drop, so I haven't cut the yarn from my swatch. And I'm sure you know what the Pressed Flowers, but the picture's not very good on the pattern. I'll show you. That's the pattern, but it's a very poor, I think it's my printer and a very poor picture. I don't think there's a better one, but I'm sure, I mean, unless you've been under a rock, well, it's going to be, where did I put it? Hiding. It's going to be this pattern on, look at the mistake, on, it's all falling apart, it's all going, there we go, on a cardigan. And they use Spin Cycle, but I'm afraid that won't be happening. So this is the swatch I did. Now, it won't be very clear, especially with this lighting. Oh, maybe it's alright, you can see the flowers, can't you? Now, you might think, what? Navy on navy? But it's actually a Zauberball. Haha, look at those colours. And the main colour, sorry, it's rustling. The main colour is this. I have had this in my stash for probably 4 years, and it's been knit into a few different things, and I've decided it's not right, but I think like the navies are coming out. And this is Old Maiden Aunt. Sorry, if things fall to the floor, still can't get them up. So Old Maiden Aunt, and it's a famous blue raincoat, 400 yards and 100 grams superwash merino, and it's 4-ply, but I got gauge with the 4-ply, so I'm going to stick with that. But again, I wasn't in the headspace to do it. But I think it's going to start nice and subtle, and then at the bottom, and then go up to the lovely oranges and pinks at the top. So you'll see that maybe in the future. So those were the two swatches. Aren't I often good doing swatches? Don't normally. I was just playing around with the different yarn choices, and sorry if I knock you a wee bit, but and I thought, no, I'm not in the headspace for that. Don't laugh. So what I thought I would do is go to my contrast book, which is this one. Now, I was carrying this, well, I wasn't taking it anywhere, I was keeping it at home. I was carrying this around with me, but I've given in and photocopied the pattern because it's charted, and they use the same charts for, I think, 4 different patterns in the book, and I was flip-flopping over and losing my place, so finally given in and photocopied it. But yeah, this is an amazing book, and it's actually that pattern on the front that's the one that I've decided to do. So, you know, pressed flowers, and the other one wasn't simple enough, but I decided to do a full cable sweater. Yeah, just don't even worry about it. What row? 166. I'm being very organised. I've written. So it's the long road pullover. I actually would love to do it in that colour. It's a deep red, it looks like orange, but it's a lovely deep red. And there's a long road pullover, there's a long road sweater, there's a long road hoodie. It's a big long cardigan with a hood, and I think is there a hat? Anyway, they all use the same cable patterns, so you know, I was flip-flopping. This book, I just love everything in it. Absolutely gorgeous book. And I've already knit one out of this, if you remember. Which one was it? I don't remember now. I did it in Maija 74, but it's completely bobbled. I need to defuzz it, so did that one, if you remember, with the nice detail down the front, and I wear it to death in the house because it's just pull it on and throw it on over whatever, but it needs defuzzed in the most massive way. Anyway, enough about that. So I had this yarn, I bought it for something, and then decided it wasn't the right colour, and should have sent it back, but I think I got it in a real bargain from Wool Warehouse and just kept it. But the yarn that I'm using is my usual complaint. Worsted weight yarn, sport weight yarn isn't something that's really readily available or common in the UK, but thankfully Cascade Heritage is readily available, and it's Cascade 220 Heathers in the colourway 1007. I suppose a lilac-y, sort of heathered lilac colour. Not something I normally wear, but probably that there. And there's a wee sort of heatheredness through it. And I had this in stash, and super soft, so I thought this would be brilliant to have for a cabled sweater to really show the cables, and this is what I've done so far. So you start at the back neck, so it'll be like that. Now, I swatched for this. I'm really up on the swatches at the moment, aren't I? And this looks like it wouldn't even fit my daughter, and she's slim, but of course it'll stretch out. Oh, and the first thing you see is a mistake. Oh no. Look at that mistake. Now, can I live with that? Can I live with that? Oh, I don't know if I can live with that. I have to think about it. Oh, look at that. Isn't it funny how you knit something you just don't see it? Well, I wouldn't have to go back too far. You're seeing everything now, you see? That one, that side's perfect. Ah, can I live with that? No, I don't think I can. I think I'm gonna have to pull back, but it's not the end of the world. Anyway, so that's the beginnings. Should have done the other ones. That's the beginnings of the pattern anyway. It's a very, look at that, it's blazingly obvious and I didn't see it. Look. Anyway, so this is this is the Long Road Cardigan from the contrast book. Of course it's the upside of it, isn't it? Would you pull it back? Yeah, I will, because it's right at, it's on the, no, I can't live with that. Look at that. You see, it's shining. Shouldn't keep showing you. Anyway, it's going to be gorgeous, and I'll take my time, and I might cast something else on in between that's maybe not as, doesn't, well, obviously my concentration wasn't good if I was making a mistake, but that's the great thing about knitting. You do it wrong, you rip it back, nobody knows. Well, now all of you know, but anyway. And that's in my donkey bag. I thought we're coming up to Lent. Don't really keep Lent, but coming up to Easter, and I've got my donkey bag out again. And if you watched last Easter, you know the relevance of the donkey for the story, and they can see the cross on its back. So that's my donkey bag and my donkey project. We'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted. Isn't it funny though? I looked at that for days as I was knitting it, and never saw it. And I show it and I see the mistake. But anyway, here, never mind. Right, it's going to be another long one. I hope you've got a nice cup of coffee or something to get you through. Excuse me as I just take a wee sip. You hear my gulp gulps. So, I was talking about the lucky Dip Kal, and as my next podcast won't be to sort of well into March, I thought I would pick my new one today. And you know, I'm keeping them I'm knitting them in my wee bag from Crafty Clegs. That's been going everywhere with me. It just fits a wee 50-gram skein perfectly. There we go. So cute. And my skeins are all being kept in here, and I'm not going to look. Go right down to the bottom, will I? Oh, I can't get it. Oh, right down to the bottom. Oh my goodness. These are just getting prettier. Oh, sorry, all the looking and pluck. Another woolly goodness one. And it's this self-striping sparkle, if you're happy and you know it. I've had this before. I knit this up for the Marie Curie sock quest. So Cara, I should have told you not to look. So this is 2 25s and a 20. So this will be gorgeous. It's just so soft, and you can you see the sparkle? You can. So that's for March. Those will be bright and sunny to perfect for March, aren't they? Real Easter colours. Was Easter's in April this year, but real spring colours. So that's if you're happy and you know it. And again, woolly goodness yarn is as soft as butter. It really is. So into the bag. I need to obviously cake them up. I really must do a pair of those for myself, but never mind. And that's them for already. Just need to cake them up, and needles and all are kept in the bag. So that's that. So I have every year for the last 3 years at least, knit socks for the Marie Curie sock quest. You'll hear me talking about it a lot. And I mentioned in my last podcast that I had ordered although I'm in a no buy, it's become a tradition to order the Marie Curie sock quest is run by a doctor who works in Marie Curie hospices. For those of you who aren't in the UK, it's a cancer charity, and the emblem is the daffodil, and it's called Marie Curie after Marie Curie. And her wish is every Christmas to give every patient, I don't know if they still call them patient, every person in the hospice, having care, and their families, if possible, a pair of socks for Christmas. And she's done it for quite a few years, and I've knit them for quite a few years. So this year's sock yarn arrived a couple of days ago, and it's from Rosie's Moments, and it's called Daffodil Hope. Perfect name for, oh, it's come on skein as well. Perfect name for knitting for cancer patients, isn't it? And the Twin Set and Pearl, who I bang on about too, is have also put out a pattern for this year. And you don't have to do that. You can knit vanilla socks, you can do whatever pattern you want, but I thought, saying it was money, but all the money was going to Marie Curie as well. It's Beneath the Beech Tree Socks. I didn't mean to print out the front page, but it's so, and it's come out lovely. So those I'm going to knit. I have a couple more yellow skeins left over, as yellow is my favourite colour, and people often send me yellow skeins, so I will be knitting a few pairs of these. And that's on Ravelry, you can get it, and these are by Rachel. Always get mixed up with the twins, which one does the shawls, but that's Rachel. And they're absolutely gorgeous, so hopefully you'll maybe get those cast on. I've plenty of time, but get those cast on and have a go at those. And along with that came this lovely wee stitch marker or progress keeper, I suppose, and it's just a wee daffodil. So that was my only incoming, and won't be any, famous last words, there won't be any more yarn coming in for a wee while, because although now that I'm back to knitting sweaters, my yarn's going down rightly. It's great. It's lovely to, I find it quite, sad life I have, but I find it quite exciting to shop my stash and to find the right yarn, or make do in many instances. Right, you've all hung on, haven't you, for the giveaway? I should have done it at the start. That was a bit cheat. But I have had so many messages under for the giveaway. That 475 as of midnight last night. It's closed now, obviously. And just to say, there are lots of scammers on YouTube at the moment. And quite a few of my friends have had difficulties with them. I just want to tell you, I already posted about this. I will never ask for your bank details. I will never ask for you to send any money for postage or to pay for it. It's a giveaway. It's for free. I will never ask any details, and I will always announce the winners on my podcast. And I don't get in touch with you. You get in touch with me. So please don't. I can't remember what the most of us have never heard of the thing that's coming up. I'll just look at, oh no, that's not what I want. Sorry, this isn't good watching. I wrote it down, and now of course I don't have it. Telegram. They're talking about this Telegram thing. I do not even know what it is. I don't use it. I have no clue. And always look for my icon, my wee Ruthlovestoknit icon, and that'll keep you right. So please don't ever give anybody your details in any way. And if you are the winner, you can get in touch with me on Instagram or by email. That's the best way. That keeps it, I'm putting this away and the winners are on this. That keeps us right, doesn't it? So I did a draw with the fancy dancy app that you used last night. And the first winner, now I picked another skein out of my stash because there were 475 people put comments, and I thought one skein of yarn is a bit measly for that many. So the one I showed you initially was the Fruitful Fusions yarn, and it's called The Big Pond, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the wee little grey girl bag, which was donated a while ago as well. And then I decided to choose another one, and although this is a Christmas name, I really don't feel it needs to be a Christmas name. And it's the Paw Ply Yarn Co. And that's precious because he's not dying anymore. And it's Rudolph, but excuse me, that doesn't necessarily say, it's got browns and it's got greys and it's got red, well, pinky red. And they're both superwash merino nylon. So you could make socks or whatever you want. And then another little grey girl bag. lovely wee triangle bag. So that was a pretty good gifts, I think. And so the winner of the first one is, I was going to put these up on and I forgot. So is the Bristol Knitter. And she said, woo, lovely to see you. Heart, heart. I'm sorting out my stash currently. It's all over the place. I'm focusing on using it up as all our money is going on fixing our roof from leaks due to all that rain. At least we won't get cold. So that's a nice wee pick me up, a nice wee present there. And it's the Bristol. Oh no, that's too bright, isn't it? Oh, I'm not good at this at all. Should have had it on the screen. The Bristol, can you see? The Bristol Knitter. All right, so that's for the first one. I'll put that back in my bag. So if you can get in touch with me before the next podcast, if I don't hear from you, I will do another draw. And then the next one is for the Rudolph yarn is My North Knit Corner. So lovely to see you again. You have been missed. Thank you. I'm sorry for the hardships you've been through last month. We're really okay. But in the midst of it all, God is with love and comfort. God bless you and your family. Love from Anne in Norway. So there you go, My North Knit Corner. Thank you so much, that's lovely. So those are the two winners. If you didn't win, there'll always be other things. I love doing giveaways. I love giving away yarn. I've been very blessed to be given lots, so of course I have to give some away. And as I say, if you put the hashtag you feel free in 23, you never know, you might get a wee win there too. I think that's all the yarn. I'm looking at the complete disaster zone that's around me. I think that's everything. Breakneck speed as usual. Now, normally at the end of my podcast, I share a wee bit of something from God's Word. I'm a Christian and I just love to share the good news of the gospel. But this week, I want to talk to you about Lamb Hospital, and I'm hoping I do have some photographs for this. As many of you know, I trained as a nurse. 17 and a half, I left home and went to train as a nurse. And when we qualified, there were no jobs. So some of us went over to London. I moved to London when I was just before my 21st birthday. Had no clue where we were going. Ended up in a flea-ridden hole of a place in London. And we worked in every shift under the sun. We never said no. We did everything. We worked so hard. And eventually I decided this was not what I wanted to do, and I wanted to travel, and I wanted to go to Australia. And funny thing is, I've never been. And I did some qualifications to get to Australia. But in the meantime, several people said to me, you really need more than nursing to travel. And so I decided to do midwifery, and I got accepted at a hospital in Whitechapel, the Royal London Hospital. And incidentally, just silly, it's where the Call the Midwife, the area called the Midwife is set in originally from in Whitechapel Poplar. And you know, I used to cycle around on my bike doing community visits. You think about it, and paying wee boys 50p to keep my bike so they wouldn't steal it. And some of the tenements, they said they're pulled down, some of them weren't great. And anyway, it was an experience, a massive life experience. But there was many Bengali ladies who came in to be delivered in Whitechapel. If you go to Whitechapel Hospital, Royal London, all the signage is in Bengali as well as English and Hindi and all the rest of it. And of course, Brick Lane is mostly Bangladeshis. And you come out of Whitechapel tube station, you just feel like you're in a different place, a different world. And I really got my eyes opened, and I learned a bit of Bangla to be able to say, you know, breathe, push, don't push. And I just got a real interest in their culture. And of course, one thing led to another. I met people, coincidences, I don't believe in those. I happened to meet this person, read this thing, had some word from God, and I ended up going to Bangladesh. I was only 4 months qualified. I have notes here and I better stick to them. I was only 4 months qualified. I was only just about to turn 20. No, I just turned 23, and I thought, you know, I could save the world. And it was baptism of fire, I tell you. It's LAM stands for Lutheran Assistance in Medicine Bangladesh, and it's running Umbrella is an American organisation, but I went with a mission called Interserve, and I was only going for a year. I stayed for many more, but I went out as a midwife initially, and we taught. I did on calls. I mean, within 4 months of qualifying, I was doing vacuum deliveries, forceps deliveries, all just things that you would never do in the UK. And I was probably young and naive enough to think that was okay. Now I think, oh my goodness. I was welcomed there with open arms, and yeah, one thing led to another, and I stayed for years on after that. I just have looking to say I trained TBAs. I helped write a traditional birth attendants. I helped write a curriculum for them as well, and we did village clinics, going out in the motorbikes out to rural villages to do clinics. So I've delivered babies in the dark, I've delivered babies on the floor, I've delivered babies through saris, all the rest of it. But and in the last term that I was there, I worked as a chaplain. And because I picked up the language, and just being able to sit and talk, and because I had a medical background, just sit and talk to people in a busy hospital where doctors didn't have time to explain the diagnosis, to explain what needed to be done, to just hold hands, to listen to them, to play with the children. It was my dream come true job. But I was volunteering, obviously. Anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about Lamb. So currently Lamb has, now this is not, I couldn't even fit in all the things they're doing, but this is just a wee overview. It is a 150 bed hospital serving 1.5 million people. I can't even, like, it's amazing. It's in a rural place. I put the map up here. It's in northwest Bangladesh, very rural, not too far from the Indian border, and they specialise in obs and gynae, and medicine, paediatrics and general surgery. They have an outpatients, and I don't have the up-to-date for this, but in 2020 they had 8,200 inpatients and 63,000 outpatients. It boggles the mind. They have a poor fund, which 70% are too poor to pay, and they do training. They have a TB, a tuberculosis program, advocacy for women's rights. They run credit schemes. They do research. They have an English medium school for staff kids. I taught there more than a few times as well. They, of course, help with disaster relief. And they have community-based programs serving 5 million people. It's just incredible. 50% of people in that area are landless labourers living on less than $1 a day often. Now, this is what I wanted to tell you as well. I'm sure many of you know that the Kraemer podcast designed a cowl and gave the proceeds for the first month to the Fistula Foundation. Well, Lamb is a known hospital for fistulas. Fistulas are a terrible thing for women, either from prolonged childbirth or prolonged labour or damage in childbirth. And they have fixed, I suppose for want of a better word, over 1,700 fistulas, changed the lives of 1,700 women who were, just absolutely dejected and cast out in many situations because they were incontinent both of urine and faeces. And I have seen firsthand, some have been put in sheds, some have been made to sleep outside, and the difference that's making in their lives just is amazing. But one of the projects that I have funneled, I suppose, some of your money, if you want to say, towards is the ACT programme, Adolescent and Community Transformation. And I'm just going to read it because it's too much to take in. So it's improving their knowledge and understanding about the mental and reproductive health, improve self-confidence, reduce gender-based discrimination, incidence of child marriage, can't read my own writing, domestic violence, sexual abuse, harassment and high dropout rate of school and education. 70 girls have been saved from child marriage in the last quarter due to this. 405 volunteer aunties, so ladies in the community that have got involved, and they're called aunties. 17,000 girls attended the aunties for counselling, to chat, to talk things over, and 7,250 girls attended health services, and that's in the last 3 years. And that, I mean, it's just an amazing place. It just, you can tell it still has a big part of my heart. And I know there's awful things going on in the world. And I know that, you know, Syria and Turkey, the earthquake, you know, I know you're giving money to that. I know you're supporting that. You know, our own church has sent out boxes that I think it's the Red Cross are doing with the emergency boxes. We've sponsored those. You don't have to do anything. I'm not asking you for money. All I'm asking you is to watch the ads. Let them run. Boil the kettle. Just let them run. If I have a wee ad in the middle of my video, it's to raise more money. It's only a few pence or cents each ad, but we have been able to now. And last year when the Ukraine war started, I sent £160 from yourselves to Red Cross, and I've been able to send upwards of 800 to Lamb, just from people watching the ads. It's just amazing. And all you have to do is let it run. And YouTube will give me money to send to Lamb. And I hope that doesn't mean I'm copyrighted or something this time. But if you want to know more, if you want to know more, of course it's online. And there's two places. It's either I'll put the details in the description below, www.lambproject.org or lambhealth.org.uk, and you can also give donations on those sites too, if that's, because I know some of you got in touch with me and say, oh, I've got premium so I don't watch the ads, and I know some of you have donated to this amazing hospital. You can find out more. You can see the amazing photographs. Listen, it's a hospital for the poor. Some people who come into that hospital, they have literally nothing. But due to funding and due to the amazing gifts people give, they can have health care too, no matter what their circumstances, and nobody's ever turned away. And I count it a privilege to have worked there for the years that I did. It has absolutely framed my life. It really has, and it'll always be a part of me. And now it's a part of you. And I hope you didn't mind me sharing that. A lot of people have asked me to share how I ended up being there. Why, and as I say, I never got to Australia despite my best efforts, and you know, that's what I was doing there. And yeah, so if you are praying, people, pray for Lamb, pray for the staff there as they work so hard to minister to their own people. It's a thankless job in many circumstances, and that they try to bring good healthcare to an area that has really very little. Now, I have gone over the hour as usual, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the projects. No idea, there will be cast-ons for next time, I'm sure, because I can't see that now when I rip that that bit back. I maybe want an easier project just to be able to knit away on. And now that I've got the sweater bug, there might be another sweater on the needles with the next time you see me. But until then, I hope you'll keep on knitting. Do get in touch if there's anything else you want to ask about Lamb, or anything else that you just want to ask, or say hello, or thank you again for all your lovely get well messages, glad you're feeling better messages. Still a wee way to go. It's taken longer than I would like, but definitely 95% better than it was. And yeah, just thanks for spending time with me today. All right, God bless and look after yourselves. Bye.